Now I notice that you are becoming so focused and so strong in your spiritual understanding and spiritual realization that you are able to not be dragged by the mental conception and the mental speculation of the body and stuff like that. Does it make sense? I don't know if it's true or not. That's what I see. That's what I see. That's what it appears to me. But generally, on the context that we're working, seeing each one of us, when we see something, we should assume that it's true. Not that we just blindly accept other people's points of view or even our own thinking, but we are focusing, remember, the spirit of the Shastra, not simply the words of the Shastra. The spirit means what you get out of it. If the Shastra is there, you can read it. You can read it da 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 da, like a minister reading from the Bible, or priest reading from the Bible. But if you focus on the words of the Shastra, meaning the language of the Shastra, then out of that bursts reality and imagination and insight and realization, because Paramatma connects us with the right answers coming out of the Shastra in the form of inspiration. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are we online yet, or are we still fiddling
I think
around?
we are live. We're live.
We are or not?
We are.
We're live.
We are live.
My voice
We're
clear?
live. We're live and kicking. Yes, it's better now.
Well, we're eternally doing that. I'm just wondering about now on the temporary plane of we on the internet.
Yeah, that's what
We
I
are.
meant. Yes.
We're alive and kicking. Very good.
Jai.
Kicking is very important. But the secret of kicking is you have to know
When to kick.
where to kick or who or what to kick. Otherwise, what is the use? What is the use of kicking if you don't know what to kick?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I wanted to share something very important today. I was watching a video of a question and answer between an initiator guru in ISKCON, and this lady asked a wonderful question, and I will try to share it here, and just see the type of answer this so-called initiator gives. It's pretty interesting, to say the least.
Initiator.
Kanishta initiator, exactly. Yes, one of those. It's just a few minutes. No, not even a few minutes, maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah, we can't criticize them because they're doing the best they can, but they are operating in a diluted state.
Yeah.
But they're not trying to convince people to become Muslims. They're helping people understand how to become devotees. But because of their insufficient guidance, they do not realize their guidance is insufficient because the GBC has told them you're sufficient. So you're a insufficient guru,
Sufficient, insufficient guru.
Yeah, sufficiency is relative to them. The GBC says, well, you passed a certain number of obstacles that we might have in approving you as a guru. Therefore, now you're sufficiently insufficient. But you can't say it's sufficient unless they're Uttamadhikari. In this part, they really ditched.
Yes, that main part. Andrew Ananda Prabhu, I think, is here. Andrew Ananda Prabhu, I apologize for starting late. I know it's 10.
Please,
No,
I
11.
understand we're all on Krishna's time, so
Actually,
But can you hear? Wait, can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you, Prabhu.
Okay, yeah, I think I try to understand that we're all on Krishna's time, and if it, so, I mean, I kind of consider this, something that I can sacrifice a little bit of sleep over, although I'm it'd be nice, and I'm working toward having a more consistent uh, or like a predictable schedule, and I guess that's what part of what we're working on, trying to get the
Yeah.
schedule
Well, you
situated.
can always arrange to sleep until 2 in the afternoon and then stay up all night.
Right. I just the main thing is like as long as I can wake up early for Brahma Muhurta and like be awake for the morning time. Like if I end up going to sleep later, that's fine. I want at least to be where I can be nicely alert for Brahma Muhurta and observing,
That's
that
Yeah.
wonderful.
pinnacle hour.
All
What
right. So
subjects are we touching on today? Or
yeah, so we can discuss that. We wanted to discuss that, and then the timing. Maybe we can get it squared away. Narayan Prabhu, have you thought about any times and days? We were thinking about 4 days a week, and then
No, well,
uh,
we should try to eliminate certain days because of their being patently inconvenient.
right.
One thing we should do is we should try to avoid days when, like, appearance days and stuff, going to the temple might be a conflict,
Yeah. Yes.
and switch those days to the one next to it or something of that sort. What else is there? Which is the best and which is the best days of the week and which are the worst days of the week in terms of scheduling?
Saturday and
Um,
Sunday.
Are worst or good? Saturday and Sunday.
Well, both. Which is the worst? Which is the good? For instance, if people are working all week long, like if from India, then Saturday and Sunday, if they're not working, might be very good days because they don't have to go to work that day. They can take part in our program as long as it goes.
yes,
But
the weekends seem practical.
and then
But
again,
this,
I don't know what people, I don't know in general, because we can't just consider the 10 people or so that join us on the Zoom, but also all sorts of people that would like to join us on Zoom at some point. What will inconvenience them? Like
so
we
anyone,
almost have a program, which means that a guy can't go to work at 8 in the morning or something, or 9 in the morning, and that would be a problem. So we should try to figure that out.
so anyone that is watching this live on YouTube, if they have a suggestion at what time we should start, or their convenient time, they can message me on WhatsApp. We have a group, the League for 10,000 Years, or on YouTube. Send a message, and we'll try to work
Now,
out a schedule for you. Or
Ramachandra Prabhu,
yes,
you know what? This is something that occurred to me some time ago and I forgot. And
Huh.
that is, why not just create a questionnaire with like a calendar and just put on the calendar, each person can vote for a certain date is best for them. And not just a date, but I mean,
10,000 years.
yes, just make a questionnaire for a week or for a month or something of that sort and put down, or for a week should be enough, and put down for a week which are the best times and the best days and the best times. And
Okay, I'll do that.
Does that make sense? We just
Yeah.
get the feedback from the population. You just did it verbally, but will people do it? But if they have a thing that, can you make something that can be filled out?
Yeah, I can do that on Google.
Great. Well,
Hare
let's
Krishna,
do it.
Babuji.
Let's do it.
Hare Krishna, we got Amiyo.
And we should keep that
Hare
up
Krishna, Babuji.
because if our group changes in demographic, we need to be able to try to modify our schedule to suit as many people as possible.
Yes. We got our Vaishnava Bengali devotee here.
I
Amiyo.
saw
Hare
him. I
Krishna,
saw
Babuji.
him. I didn't have a chance to offer my obeisances yet.
Jai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Babuji.
Jai, Jai, Haribol. So good to see you. Even your clothes and room look saffron colored. It's so wonderful.
Oh, I wanted to discuss this thing. We were discussing about the two personalities. You were saying that sometimes we have two personalities. You were saying that sometimes you might feel like you're coming on very hard or very how can you say, what's the word?
Be careful, I'm listening.
No,
I'm just
like
joking.
a very dogmatic, or you think people
Autocratic,
are
I think is the right word.
yeah,
Autocratic.
autocratic. Yes, yes.
I'm not
So
dogmatic. I have very strong views, but I'm
yes.
trying to be sure that those views are useful ones that are cutting through the swamp as
Mhm.
we've come to understand swamp to be.
Right.
Yes. So if anyone else, I think the best way to solve anyone who's being autocratic is for you, Ramachandra Prabhu, to be the MC, and you say who should speak, who should not speak, and also when the person you feel they've spoken long enough, and that would be like if you're telling me you're speaking long enough, I say okay, I agree, but let me finish these points. Then I finish the 2 points, and I stop.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, yes. So anyone have any significant questions or realizations they want to share?
So we were discussing about the website.
Yes, yes. So the website. Let's go back to the website then, Bhanu Prabhu. Uh, what we wanted to discuss with Narayan Prabhu and the devotees.
So we're getting a free website with the hosting, with a hosting company.
Okay,
But
we're
the
getting a free.
on
Huh?
another, the domain name should be on another company. So
Okay.
you would anyway be registering two domain names.
Okay, let's do
But
it.
the whole name leak for 10,000 years, we need to discuss whether we need to go for it, because no one would be using it to type it.
Narayan Prabhu, did you hear? He's saying the
I
leak for 10.
heard, but I couldn't understand a word that he said, unfortunately.
Oh, he said we can register the leak for 10,000 years, but people won't be using it because most people, they go on the phone, meaning that they type on the phone, so they don't write long, websites.
Okay, well, didn't we have two names picked out, one short and one longer?
Yeah, that's Bhanu Prabhu. That's what we want to do. We want to keep both, and we'll redirect.
So we would be uselessly registering the leak for 10,000 years. I'm saying we can pick another short form or something like that.
Well,
Otherwise,
what was the short? Did anybody write it down? What was the short version?
leak 10k.
Huh?
Leak10k.com. Leak10k.com.
What's the first word?
League10k.com. League League.
I know league, but yes, I think that that's fine. League
Okay.
10K. You see, the word league is full of potency because Prabhupada created the League of Devotees, and I don't believe the word league has been used anywhere else in ISKCON propaganda.
No, I don't think so.
Probably not. and maybe somebody has something, but it won't matter because it's not prominent. If it were prominent, we'd be well aware of it. So, okay, 10K, most people know that 10K means 10,000. So then, but what we want is people to use the word the League for 10,000 Years of Golden Age of Kali, but then reduce it down when logging in to League 10K.
Yes.
Just as
Yes.
3 words. That's very
Yes.
good, I think.
Right.
Banu, does that suit your professional conscious estimation?
So what I was saying is, are we listing the name League for 10,000 years by registering it? Because no one would be using it. Well, should we go for another version of the name for the domain, that domain?
Prabhuji, is there any other name very dear to Prabhupada?
No. Same League, like League for 10,000 years. LF.
Yeah.
E.
We can't put too much into it because of the limitations of a website. Of a website. It has
10K
to be
golden year.
short. But once you get into the website, you'll see the League for 10,000 Years of Golden Age of Kali. Now,
Yeah.
this is not for newcomers. If it was for newcomers, then we would mention Prabhupada. We don't need to because we'll be talking about Prabhupada in the website so much. You don't need to mention Prabhupada. But what we are doing is creating a, what you call, we're creating a, we're creating a
League of people.
discussion group beyond the ISKCON conversation. Does it make sense? I mean, if we were like back to Godhead, we know exactly what we'd be talking about. If we said back to Prabhupada, we know exactly what we were talking about. But we're doing something new, just as important as back to Godhead or back to Prabhupada magazine. We're doing the same. We're doing this work. The League means essentially it's not humorously. It could be humorous or not humorous, depending on how humorous you want it to be. But the League for 10,000 Years is sort of like we prick our fingers and touch each other's bleeding finger to become blood brothers. This is a things kids do in America. I don't know about the rest of the world. And when we do that, we're saying we are vowing to be here for 10,000 years. And that's just our vow. Now, if you become an Uttamadhikari, then you're staying here for any length of time after you become an Uttamadhikari is between you and Krishna. Not between you and me, not between each other. There's no vote taken. It's between you and Krishna. My suspicion, although I have no basis to actually prove it, that is that anybody who makes the vow to be here for 10,000 years, Krishna will want them to do that. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Why wouldn't he? You see, but the point is, you see, that sounds like it's bad. Well, we have to be here for 10,000 years preaching against bogus gurus and preaching against this or that. No. It's not going to be like that. If we are preaching for 10,000 years, we're going to be having the meetings. What we have here in its rough, crude, primitive infancy, it's pretty damn sophisticated, in my opinion. What we're doing is very sophisticated. But if we look at it from 10 years or even 1 year from now, we could look back on what we're saying right now and say, boy, we were stumbling around in the dark, weren't we? We didn't know exactly what to say or what to do, yet we headed in the right direction. With what? The spirit, not the words of Shastra.
Right.
That's why that quote of Thakur Bhaktivinoda is vital to what we're doing, because he's touching on exactly the issue. And if anything, we could practically dedicate this website to Bhaktivinoda Thakur on the basis of the spirit, not the words of Shastra. Now, do we admire, revere, worship, adhere to the words of Shastra? Absolutely. But that is not the same thing as realization. It's obedience, yes. It is solid understanding the words, yes. But the spirit of the what is that? The spirit? They use the word spirit, Ramachandra.
Yes.
The spirit of the Shastra is the essence, so nectar. It's like when you take an apple and you put it in a press. I used to do this because we had an apple ranch when I was growing up. We take the apples and put them in a basket sort of thing made of metal. Then you put a press on top of it and squish it, and out of the apples comes cider. You get the picture?
Yes.
Out of the apple comes cider. So how do we compare that? Out of the Shastra comes realization.
Now we can surely go ahead with the name leak for 10,000 years, but for technical reasons, I'm saying. So you you open your browser, you can surely go ahead with the name, with the domain name leak for 10,000 years. Now we also register that, but for the sake of practical reasons, typing it in the bound, you open a browser and type the name, then you'll know the reasons.
Well, leak for 10K is 10,000 years. And anybody that is a devotee who has any background experience, who's not a complete raw neophyte coming into the picture yesterday, anybody who has that realization or has that information will know exactly what we're talking about. League for 10K, what's that? 10K in this gun only means the 10,000 years of golden age of Kali.
The short form which you are going for is leak10kyears.com. No, leak10k.com.
I'm sorry?
Leak10k.com.
Leak10k.com. That's what we agreed on. Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
People will know that that's just the easy way to get in. It's sort of like a pass key.
Right.
But get into what? The League for 10,000 Years.
Yeah, that would be posted on the banner.
Kali. They can read that when, as soon as they're in, they'll read. This is the League for 10,000 Years. So even if they don't know what it is, once they've logged in, so maybe they're just goofing around looking for things. If they log into it, they'll see what it is. It'll be there spelled in front of them, right?
Yes. Okay, Bhanu Prabhu, any more questions?
We need to make
yes, Bhanu Prabhu, please go ahead.
We need a list, hopefully in the order of importance, of all the introductory materials we want to start this website off with.
Right, discussion material.
Yeah, and I already considered that. Why don't we try to ponder what did Lord Chaitanya really do 500 years ago in terms of us, you and me and Banu and everyone else on the site? What did he plan or do in terms of us? We've never considered that. We were saw a temple, saw people chanting on Sankirtan. We joined the temple, right? It's all physical. It's all material body with a mind and a soul somewhere inside. Now we're trying to look at it from the soul outward, not from the body inward. Everything we've done in ISKCON so far has been from the body conception as inward as we can get without letting go of the body conception. Because if you look at it, you talk to any devotee, you'll see they're talking from their body, right?
Yeah.
When a guy's giving a lecture in front of the class, giving a class, he's going through his realization based on his body.
Right.
How many people have jumped outside of their body and say, to heck with this. I'm going to open my mouth and let Krishna do the talking. And,
you cannot.
And wake me up after an hour and we'll find out what I said.
You cannot do that in an institution, at least. because
Well, you
there
can,
is
you can actually, and you know who did it?
who
Srila
did it?
Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada.
Well, Prabhupada never.
I was there in Los Angeles before they moved to Temple Room, and I was standing next to Vyasa, I was close to the Vyasa-san, and Prabhupada looked up at Shamasunder and said, "How long was it?" And Shamasunder said, they'd had a conversation obviously before, and Shamasunder said 90 minutes. And then Prabhupada looked forward and his eyes got sort of mystical looking, and he said, "Yes, it always seems to be the same." So what was he saying in reality, right? I mean, I got
Right.
what he said. Don't you get what he said? He was saying I wasn't doing the talking.
Right.
He was listening to the lecture that he was giving,
Mm.
just as I am recommending that we do via Paramatma. Okay,
Okay.
does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, does anyone object? Does anyone say no? Does anyone say that's the wrong thing to say?
Not the wrong thing to say.
It is?
No, I said it's not the wrong thing to say. That's the way to function.
Well, good.
Paramatma.
So we need to close in on that our site for 10,000 years is based on realization, not bodily expression of something we read in a book.
Okay. Can everyone hear?
Yes,
In
Amiya
other words,
goes
we want to eventually be dealing exclusively with the spirit of the Shastra, not the words of the Shastra. But having said that, we're not trying to leave the Shastra, words of the Shastra behind. We're just saying that is not our main objective. Our objective is realization based on Shastra, not words to repeat to make ourselves feel good about ourselves.
So if people are talking about the soul, they don't realize that it's the soul that is talking about the subject soul. They talk about the soul is not breakable by sword. It's not flammable by fire or water or any weapon. The one who is talking is the soul. That is the whole point.
Say that again.
I mean, if people are discussing about the soul, they don't realize that the one who is discussing the subject, they themselves, the soul is discussing that.
Yes,
Ah,
yes, hooray, yes, bravo. Yes, that is our goal of this site. That instead of talking about the soul is talking about so many things. Does it make sense? The soul is talking about the soul, not that we are talking about, do I have a soul? Where's my soul? That's leftover Catholicism. Even the highest Catholic cannot come close to what you're saying.
Bhanu
They
Prabhu ki
cannot,
jai.
because the Catholics do not accept that the soul is a person.
Krishna.
Where did Banu go?
Bhanu's here.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. I have my phone sideways. Does that make it a problem for anybody?
No, it's good. You're not shaking it.
Well, I have it
Usually-
on a phone stand.
Yeah,
Try and
that's what we need.
if
But
you
I
can,
have it
okay,
well, let me put it vertically. Now it's vertical. Is this better or is this better?
are you able to see 3 persons, 4
Try
persons
sideways.
at the same time?
Sideways, you like sideways better?
Yeah,
Or
I would
this is
say.
vertical? Do you like vertical better? You tell me and I'll put it that way.
I
Also,
think
I'm not
the
a humanist
sideways
myself, am I?
screen, like when you turn it
Sideways
sideways,
is good.
your
All right.
picture is bigger.
Well, for me, it's more panoramic.
Right.
In other words, for me, I can see more sideways than I can vertically.
Keep the view on the phone so that you can see 4 people at the same time. Swipe it to the right or to the left.
Well, I see right now. I see 4 people,
Okay, that's
including
fine.
including myself.
Okay.
Yes, me too.
Moving to the right, I don't see Ramachandra.
I'm here now.
And now I see Ramachandra, but I only see Ramachandra and myself. Now I turn to the left, I see 4 people, but not Ramachandra.
Because
Oh,
you're
when I speak, then it's going to come.
Program. I wish that we could arrange a Zoom call so we could see 6 people or 8 people on the screen at one time. It would just mean smaller pictures.
I log in from the tab. I can see up to more than 6 people. There.
I'm sorry.
I logged in from my tab, iPad.
He logged in from his iPad and he can see 6 people.
You can.
Yeah, with the iPad.
Let's see. I suppose I could go Zoom on my computer. Should I try to do that?
No, we'll figure that out some other day. It's gonna continue like this. Let's continue for today.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
So we need to. Somebody should take notes, right? Secretary, or the chairman, like you, could take notes. And that is.
I'm taking notes. Don't worry.
Yeah. So we need to have the order of introductory material, which we need to generate, and anyone can generate it because we can discuss it after it's generated, and then compile it into a good opening program. We need to have the order in which ideas are introduced on the website. And then before that, we need the vow of the vow of the league. The vow of the league is that we will be here for 10,000 years. Assuming that Krishna wants us to be. But once you're in Uttamadhikari, Krishna will say, stay here or come back to Godhead or go to some other planet. We don't know what Krishna is going to say,
Right.
But we have to be prepared to stay here for 10,000 years as a default. As default, we'll be here 10,000 years. My prediction is that if we get about, say, 500,000 Uttama Adhikaris over the next 5,000 years, that if we get 500,000 Uttama Adhikaris in 5,000 years, it'll be so blissful being here that no one would even dream of leaving. Where would you go, What would be better? Well, going back to Godhead? It will be back to Godhead. If we have 500,000 pure devotees, Uttama Adhikaris, on the same level as Srila Prabhupada, we're going to have no lack of spiritual ecstasy amongst ourselves. Just as, I may add, the followers of Lord Chaitanya had so much ecstasy amongst themselves. It wasn't that the gopis that became Goswamis were lamenting that they were not being gopis anymore. First of all, they were being gopis. And the other thing is that the pastimes they were conducting on earth were incredibly powerfully, spiritually, overwhelmingly wonderful. So that will be true for us if we become Uttamadhikaris on earth.
Right.
In 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 10,000 years, it doesn't matter. My recommendation, my advice, if you will, is definitely become an Uttamadhikari as soon as humanly possible. That's my recommendation. Don't worry about where you're going. People, you do realize, don't you, that this kind is based on Christian concept of dying and going to heaven.
Yeah.
You see, Do you see that clearly? You're initiated, and I'll take you back to Godhead. Well, that's what a priest says in a Catholic church.
Exactly.
So we're breaking with the Catholic Church, the ISKCON Catholic Church. We're breaking with it in the sense that we're not breaking anything, we're transcending it. We're beginning to learn to fly like an eagle above the sheep pasture while we keep our eye on which sheep we're going to grab.
Huh.
Did I say that? Oh, well, I probably did. So, you know, we have to fly like eagles above everything.
Okay, so I want to test something.
Garuda's an eagle. Garuda's an eagle. Go ahead.
Right. So I want to test this thing, see if it works. Okay, so I will share it, and I hope everyone can hear it. So let's go.
I'm ready.
Okay, I'll play this. Can everyone hear?
Well, we can hear you.
We're not able to see the video and no audio also.
I can see. Can you see the video, Banu? I can see the video.
No, it's not playing. You're only able to see black screen.
From Amigo Ghost to everybody. Well, is it playing, Ramachandra?
Yeah, it's
Videos-
playing.
But we are not able to see the video.
Well, we can't hear it.
You cannot hear? Cannot hear?
We don't see the video and we can't hear.
We cannot hear the video.
Can't see all.
We can
We see
see
it play.
a static picture of a girl with the word idol next to her.
Yeah, it's not working, so it didn't work. I wanted to share a video with the devotees here on Zoom, but it did not work. I don't know why.
Well, it's technological, and I'm sure if you check into the protocol for Zoom, you'll find out how to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's impossible. I mean, can you bring the video on as a person? Log them in as a person on this?
No. This was a question by a disciple of one of the initiators that I wanted to share as it is on the video that was recorded on Zoom. But
So
it's not
someone
playing.
was referring to our Zoom program?
No. Someone asked a question to one of the initiator gurus.
Oh,
So-
this is so it's a recording of a third party.
Yes.
Third party,
which
right?
Yes. Yes,
And you
which I wanted-
can't bring the recording as a member of this. You can't log them in as a member of
No.
this conversation.
No,
You're
because they
positive.
yeah, I'm positive because I don't know who they are. And first of all, they asked the
No,
question.
not who they are. Can't you just take the any recording, Elvis Presley? Can't you take that and make it a person on the Zoom?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I was trying, but it did not work.
So far,
Just so far, yeah.
I mean, did you bring them in as a participant on the Zoom, or do you just bring it in as an exhibit on the Zoom?
Sharing the screen. We're sharing the
Share-
screen.
I was sharing the screen.
Just like we share a web page so that everyone
like-
can see.
Yes. Just like I share a web page where everyone can see, that's the way I was sharing the video that everyone hopefully could see and
Yeah.
hear. See
But
and
can
hear.
you not? But you can't put them on as a person.
No,
How do you know?
because it's a pre-recorded video that I wanted to play.
Yeah, but if the video came on as a person, then it could speak.
Yeah, it's not possible. Whatever we think of it, technological.
What do you think, Banu? Do you think it's technically possible or not?
No.
No,
Unless you play it on a separate device and just show the camera toward the for the
Yeah.
video.
That you could
Oh,
also do.
Yes,
can do
that's it. Amazing.
Could you now if you
Might
brought
work.
it up on your other phone or a tablet, if you brought it up on that and just, I think that Bhaktanand is hit the nail on the head as
Right,
usual.
Ananda Prabhu.
What if you bring it up as a recording and you play it for all of us?
That's what I'm doing. 1 second. Jai, that's the best way to do it.
Who knows? It may be the only way to do it.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it.
We're probably boring the hell out of everybody listening to our conversation on Zoom.
It's okay.
But they should be excited. If they knew what we were doing, they would be thrilled with us stumbling around in the dark, banging our heads on the furniture.
Ramachandra Prabhu,
Yes.
there's an option called switch camera within this Zoom.
Okay.
Switch camera.
So what does it
push
do?
it, back camera gets activated. You can if you are on near the PC, you can see you could view the PC from the back camera.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're saying, Bhanu Prabhu. Yes, I got it. All righty. 1 second. Okay, so I'll load it up and I'll show you guys. Let's see.
Yeah, I should think if you can talk, it can talk, right?
No,
If you're playing it like on a TV.
okay, now it's gonna work. So can everyone see? Yes, close. So I'll play it here. Let me turn my microphone off.
Landscape view.
Let's see. Okay.
We're going to be able to see as well as hear.
Yes. 1 second. Okay, let me turn it loud.
There must be a sophisticated way of doing this.
You shared with me the link. Can do it. Share the from the.
Let someone else ask a question now.
Can everyone hear?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. My name is Loka. I have a question for you, please.
Okay, sure.
Every morning, we chant the lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way to obtain pure devotional service. And in that prayer, we say, "He is my Lord, birth after birth." When our spiritual masters leave the planet, do they, on the assumption that I will be taking birth many more times, how does that relationship perpetuate? Is the spiritual master bound to the material energy as long as he has disciples who are still returning, or is it done in a more esoteric way? Can you share something on that, please?
Well, if one would think that the spiritual master is bound to the material energy as long as the disciples return, that's a quite depressing job description.
It is.
So
that's why I'm asking.
So it said, would you like this job? You just have to take birth. As long as any of these 1,000 and odd people are going to be in this material world, you're condemned to this material world. And if you take birth again, you probably initiate a few new disciples. So you're going to have to take birth as long as those new disciples are in the material world. And so that's pretty much infinity as far as I'm concerned. So don't sign me up. So
who is the person speaking?
So the answer is that
Who's the guru? Who's the Swami?
To others.
The Swami is Bir Krishna.
For example,
The Swami is Bir Krishna.
Bir Krishna?
Mm.
Oh my God. Well, I hope he gets his wish.
You heard that? You heard it? It's pretty funny, huh?
Yeah.
What he's really saying is that the disciple enslaves the spiritual master, not that the spiritual master delivers the disciple.
Right. Just see, it's pretty funny. That's why it's she asked a very intelligent question. You heard, right?
No.
And she asked you is she a devotee?
Yes, she's a devotee. Yes.
She's asking Is the spiritual master enslaved to come and deliver? Are they? Does he have to take birth many times? Are they bounded by to come to earth? She's asking.
Who is she? We should be in touch with her.
I don't know who she is, but she joined. I don't know who she is because she asked that question, and I spontaneously watch these videos of the gurus.
Well, her name is on the screen. Her name is on the screen.
Yes, her name is on the screen. I'll find out who she is.
Should not be impossible.
Yeah, but a very intelligent question she asked, and the guru couldn't answer it properly.
So we watched the whole video?
No, that's what I wanted you to watch. That's basically the whole video. You want to watch it again?
Okay.
It was fantastic. But that girl is incredibly intelligent.
Right. That's what I wanted to say.
She
And the
has
gurus,
what I would call upper scale PhD mentality.
right. And look at his answer. Look at Bir Krishna's answer. Hear the answer he gives.
In the case of Bilbo Mangal Thakur, there was this one. I think you're probably familiar with Chintamani, his girlfriend, who he was very much attached to. I'm probably sure you're familiar with her. So he was very attached to her, and it's described that his spiritual master used her as a mouthpiece to awaken his Krishna consciousness, or reawaken his Krishna consciousness. So
what is it?
Our spiritual
Unfortunately, I'm out of connection here.
Yes.
What's going on? You cannot hear? Were you hearing the video, Narayan Prabhu?
I'm trapped. My hearing aids are not picking up the conversation.
Oh, it's not? Okay. Anyways, what I'll do, Narayan Prabhu, is I'll send you the video on email so you can hear it on the email next time.
Yeah, it's good. But the main thing is we need to find the lady.
Yeah. The lady is more intelligent than the guru.
Is she a disciple of Bir Krishna?
No, she's not a disciple of Bir Krishna.
So who is she a disciple of?
I don't know. It's, I'll find out.
Oh. Hare Krishna.
All right, let someone else ask a question now.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. My name is Loka. I have a question for you, please.
His name is Lisa de Soto. I'll look it up.
Can you
Post it in the group, the video.
Oh yes, I'll do it. Narayan Prabhu, are you still on, or what's going on? Okay, I posted it in our group. Jai. Okay, Andrew and Prabhu, I sent the video on our WhatsApp group, so you can see it whenever you get time. So it looks like Narayan Prabhu went off.
So Amir Ghosh Prabhu is also there on WhatsApp group. He was asking.
Amir Ghosh Prabhu is on WhatsApp, right? Amir Ghosh Prabhu, are you on WhatsApp?
The group?
He's there.
WhatsApp.
Yes, he said yes.
Okay.
Jai. I've shared the video, so we can talk about the video tomorrow. And Andrew Ananda Prabhu, anything you want to share or discuss about?
Where did you find that video, and where did you post it?
I posted it on our WhatsApp group.
Okay. How did you come across that that video? I was trying to follow along, but my reception is not so good, so I missed like in the middle of it.
No problem. What I do is I spontaneously watch videos of the live videos of the initiated gurus. So, sometimes I I hear their philosophy and try to understand, what they're saying, what's going on in the ISKCON world and stuff like that. So whenever I hear stuff, I pick up stuff that's what's going on internally among the
I
politics of
see.
ISKCON. You know what I'm saying? And then
Wait,
I
say
can
that.
see, huh?
Hold on.
So this question was very interesting because it relates to what we are doing. We're talking about preaching and the spiritual master coming
I'm
back, and
trying to hear you, but I can't. My reception is like bad right now. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Uh,
Next time we'll have a discussion regarding it. So, are you guys
So
familiar with? Go ahead,
is
Banu
Nana
Prabhu.
coming on?
No,
Is he
no, Prabhu. Let me call him. What's going on? 1 second.
changing the batteries maybe?
Maybe he's changing the batteries. Oh, yes, maybe. Yes, Banu Prabhu. 1 second. Krishna.
Haribol.
Yes, Prabhu.
Sorry, I was trying to hear you, but my reception is not so good this evening. I apologize. If
No
I'm
worries,
not.
no worries.
Okay.
He's not answering. So what we can do is we can end the meeting tonight, Banu Prabhu, and then we'll continue tomorrow, or unless someone has any questions or discussions or something like that, or website discussion we want to have. So, Andrew Ananda Prabhu, how should we structure the website? Uh, any suggestions, ideas you want to share? Oh, about Facebook page, yes. We want to also create a Facebook page, Banu. So,
Mhm.
so we can do that. And then
I wanted to let you know about something. I mean, your ISKCON Sacramento page is there, no?
no,
Center.
it's called Sacramento is not my page.
It's not your page?
No.
Oh, I mean, it says a business page, it says. Or the
That, yeah, the Hare Krishna,
Center of Sacramento.
yeah, Hare Krishna Center, Sacramento. Yeah, it's, I need to change that, but that is just like for Sacramento. I want our videos, meaning these videos that we're doing, to be posted separately, and in that way I can share it on any page I like. But that would be coming from exclusively from the League for 10,000 years.
This.
You can
Mm.
like that. So from there we can share it to anywhere. So our content would go there, meaning that what we create, and we cut chunks of it, maybe 5 minutes regarding the bullet points, and then we'll post it there, just like I do on my Oh, Narayan Prabhu just came on again.
Mm.
My role,
Hare Krishna, Narayan Prabhu.
Hey, Krishna.
sort of a mysterious thing happened. I got there and I was watching that video intensely as a video. I don't know how I got onto it, but I would say his realization is about 0.1% accurate.
Actually, it seems like she's on a higher platform than he is. The girl asking the question.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
so,
saying?
and by the way, we have her name. Her name is Lisa De Soto, and she's known as Loka Devidasi.
Yeah,
Ah,
very, very interesting questions he asked, and Bir Krishna fumbled it.
Well, he did, but the language that he used was sort of gagged me with a spoon sort of language. I mean, he's saying, oh, this sort of job is doing this and that. He's treating it totally as a material thing from the
Yeah.
way he talks.
Yeah,
He didn't have a single inspiring word. I mean, put it this way, it was all form and no content.
yeah. Jesse, these are the gurus we have, so-called initiators we have. You know, pathetic.
Initiators. Well,
It's
what
not
can
even.
you expect of them?
Yeah,
Take into account, Prabhu, that they are taking on the karma of all the people that they claim they either are or are not going to come back for birth after birth.
yeah, yes. So
The thing is about the self-realized soul is that when you take initiation from a pure devotee, the first task is not for you to be dragged anywhere by the pure devotee. The first task is to become an independent philosopher.
right.
Who's going to drag you back to Godhead? No, thank you. I'm going to drag myself back to Godhead. Well, how are you going to do that? I'm going to pray to Lord Nityananda to grab me by the Sika and drag me back to Godhead. I don't need my guru to tell me to do that or that he's going to do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
He was acting as though the guru, and he was sort of wandering between her conception and his own. Well, he created two conceptions. One is that he's a material slave that has to enslave, as a slave, he has to take all these people back to Godhead. And on the other side, he was saying he wasn't a slave, but then he presented himself once again like a slave. The actual fact is, if you're the actual guru, are you inspiring in your disciple the actual spark of pure unalloyed love of God? That is what takes you back to Godhead, not the guru. The guru doesn't take you back to Godhead. He shows you how to go back to Godhead, and you become the Madhyama Adhikari and then the Kanistha Adhikari, which is back to Godhead.
What do you mean, Kanishta Adhikari, which is back to Godhead?
No, Madhyama Adhikari. You got the Kanistha Adhikari, he can ask, how do I get back to Godhead? He asked Pure Krishna. And he said, Pure Krishna gives an answer such as the one he gave to Lisa de Soto.
Mm.
And then we can say, but wait, I don't want to do it that way. I want to take the inspiration and the essence of what you said, never mind which exact words you said, but I want the essence of your teaching, and I'm going to take that and perfect it as a Madhyama Adhikari.
Mm.
And as a Madhyama Adhikari, I will then perfect that to the platform of Uttama Adhikari.
Mm-hmm.
A total different game changer for ISKCON.
Yeah. So
You see, if Pure Krishna represents ISKCON, which he may or may not represent, the thing about all these gurus is that they're all at each other's throats philosophically.
yeah. Yes.
But because they're gurus, or they're supposedly, I'm saying gurus with brackets around it, or parentheses, or what are they called? Quotation marks around it. When the so-called gurus are guruing, they have the freedom to do whatever they see fit, because after all, they're all gurus. So each one would have a different point of view, right? And yet they operate within the mass indoctrination of ISKCON. In other words, they're told what to think, but when they express what they think, it can be quite different from what somebody else says, and who's also a Kanistha initiator.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
once you accept you're a guru, then whatever you're saying is coming from Krishna, as they would say, or theoretically.
We're in trouble
But
if it's
his response to Loka Devidasi did not sound as though it were coming from Krishna Loka.
yeah. More
Not
like
even close.
wow. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Just see. This is the type of answers we get when we ask penetrating questions.
You have a really brilliant tendency to pick good stuff.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Well, do it. Do it.
Because we're discussing in that
You,
line, you know?
you pick good stuff, but all I can do is respond to it. But you picking it is extremely important. Otherwise, there would be nothing to respond to.
Right. So that's along the line of our taking birth 10th, birth after birth, and assisting Srila Prabhupada until we become pure devotees, and even staying here, Krishna willing, wanting us to keep here. Why not?
Yes, why not? Because as independent philosophers, we get to choose what we do.
Right.
So he said, well, I choose to leave my body at this end of this lifetime and go back to Godhead. And you say, well, that's an interesting choice, except how do you do it? I mean, you die and then you what? How can you go back to Godhead without a relationship with Krishna?
Yeah.
Well, I washed a lot of pots in the kitchen. Give me a break, it's not get you into Krishna Loka, that gets you into the kitchen. But he keeps on thinking like that, you know what I mean?
Right. That is I'm a pot washer. I'm a pot washer for 40 years, and I like to obey orders of the management and the initiated gurus. So I'm qualified to go back to Godhead after this. I chanted all my rounds, followed the regulated principles, but my service is of a pot washer
Yes. And what the response is? Yes, indeed. You are qualified to go back to Godhead, but you have a little bit more stuff to take care of first.
Right.
Like maybe 100 lifetimes more to take care of first.
100 lifetimes of pot washing.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll get to be a Pujari eventually, but after the pots. But yes, so that's the exact idea. I think the more we become comfortable with this idea that we're really breaking the mold, literally mold, like
exactly
of what's told us. You just go. We break that mold and start exploring on our own as we are in this meeting, because each and every one of us, you are an independent philosopher.
Jai.
So if you know that you are, you may start out by struggling between what's the right answer, and what occurs to you as the spiritual realization.
Yes. Yes.
When it comes to spiritual realization, obviously there's no right answer. There cannot be, right? Does that make sense?
When it comes to a spirituality, there's no right answer. What do you mean there's no right answer? Then you can argue
because
that
your right answer is your realization, not a piece of memorized fact.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. So
you see, the right answer means I look at I'm trying to get more light on myself. Okay. Right answer means trying to consider that I am like building a chest of drawers, and I look at the plans and I look at the wood and I look at the tools and I try to get them all together to make the chest of drawers. But we're not making a chest of drawers. This is spiritual realization. There is no right answer. The only so-called the only actual quote unquote right answer is your realization on the topic.
Well, then you can argue that my realization is different, your realization is different. So Bir Krishna can answer that question in any way he likes. No?
Well, as long as it answers the question. But do you feel that he answered the question?
No way, he didn't answer the question.
No. So he can say that. I mean, well, Bir Krishna, you've read the text, you've read the Prabhupada's books, you've learned some Sanskrit and all of that. So what did you learn? And he'll tell you that. He said, sorry, you don't even get a D- on that one. You don't have the slightest inkling. You don't have the slightest idea about anything because it wasn't your own realization. It was a stupid thought. And it came across as a stupid thought. And I'm sure that young lady, Rupa, what was your name?
Something.
Loka Devidasi. I'm sure that Loka Devidasi, whose Karmi name, if you will, is Lisa. Let me see, I wrote it down. Lisa De Soto. Lisa De Soto. She had a very clear mind and asked a very clear question. All he had to do was say, the spiritual master awakens the spiritual master awakens the jiva, who then, being part and parcel of Krishna, has an access to inspired thought, inspired feeling coming from his relationship to Krishna as it develops. And with that inspired thought and feeling, the jiva then makes his own spiritual advancement, and the spiritual master has created that in him, but is not dragged down by the disciple into another birth in order to make the spiritual master do his work for him.
Yeah, Bir Krishna portrays it like he's going to liberate them.
Yeah, but they're going to liberate themselves.
Yeah.
How can one jiva liberate another jiva?
No way. You have to oil your own machine.
Yeah, that's all Catholic Church stuff.
Yeah.
The jiva, he's Jewish, but he acts like he's Catholic. So he doesn't talk. If he was actually a real Jew, he could have given a really fantastic answer. It would be very complicated. He could be way off base, but at least it would have been more interesting.
And did you see the part where he brings up the prostitute? What the prostitute has to do with anything, you know?
Oh, that part about the prostitute? Chintamani, the prostitute. Well, okay, what happened is that local, what is it? Lokamangal? What's the name of the? He became Bhakta Suridas later.
Yeah.
In India, in Vrindavan, but Lokamangal Thakur, what's it?
No.
What?
Bilvamangal Thakur.
Vilamangal Thakur. Yeah, Vilamangal Thakur was a very sincere, very advanced devotee, but he had a bad compulsion for women.
Right.
I mean, he was like very compulsive when it came to women, and that was standing directly in the way of his spiritual advancement. He had a girlfriend who was a prostitute who lived on the other side of the river.
Right.
Named Chintamani, I believe, right?
Right.
And he got this overwhelming testosterone-laden urge to have a nice, exciting evening with her. So as he went, he saw there was a storm in the river, and there were dead branches floating, and there was rough water. He didn't let that stop him. He jumped in the water, and he came across, and he grabbed a tree branch to keep from drowning. And it turned out the tree branch was a big snake. And then everything he did, he came across to Chintamani. Finally, he dragged himself out of the water, ready for a good, you know what. And and he came up to Chintamani, where Vishnu began speaking through her, saying, if you gave as much passion to serving Krishna as you do swimming across the river for a good F and you know the rest of the word, you would become a pure devotee. You're a pure devotee of your own lust, but you're not a pure devotee of Krishna. I forget exactly what happened, if she satisfied his urges or didn't satisfy his urges.
No,
But
he
later
immediately
on-
left. I think he immediately left.
Okay, let's say he did. And it doesn't matter if he left or not, because the conclusion at the end was the same. He came
Right.
across and went back into Vrindavan, sobered up by his guru, Chandamani the prostitute. In that in rather good humor. His actual guru became Chintamani the prostitute and gave him the vital information he needed. So he came back to Vrindavan, and he was once again, practicing Krishna consciousness, chanting, very spiritually advanced, until he saw the wife of a Brahmin. Do you know this part of the story?
Yes, Prabhupada talks about it. Yes, he wanted
Yeah.
to enjoy with the wife of the Brahmin. Yeah.
He wanted her to have sex with him.
Right.
And so he approached her. He said, I can't do this. I'm married. I'm the wife of a Brahmin. He said, yes, but I am a Satsat Sadhu. And if I ask you for something, it transcends your duty to your husband. It's higher than your duty to your husband. And so she finally succumbed to his desire and said, all right, then come into my house. I will satisfy you, because you have made a point that your desire transcends my vow to my husband. And he came up to her and he said, before I come into the house, would you please do something? She said, what? Hand me those hat pins, or pins that she had for keeping her sari united with her hair and something like that, These two big long pins, thick, not thin like pins for sewing with that we know. So she handed him the pins, and he stood there completely committed and put out his own eyes with those pins. You know that story, right? You know the story.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Does everyone know the story?
Yes.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does everyone does? Okay. And then from that
Amir
point
Ghosh doesn't
onward,
know.
What?
Amir Ghosh doesn't know, but I'll send him the link. Prabhupada talking about it.
Amir's with us?
Amir Ghosh is here. Yes. Amir
Jai. So whatever, I'll just finish it quickly, that he, putting out his eyes, went and sat and chanted with an ektar, a one-stringed instrument, and you sort of like bend it so it goes boring, bing, 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 boring, bing, 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 like that when you're playing it. And he was chanting Hare Krishna. And while he was chanting, this little boy came and was teasing him and talking to him and stuff like that. And he had no idea who this little boy was. But it turned out, and you know the whole story, which I don't recall the entire story right now, it turned out was Krishna as a child came and revealed himself to this now person immune to sex desire.
Yeah. So Bir Krishna quoted that pastime. That's funny.
What was his point?
I have no idea what was his point. His point was I'm your guru, but if I fail to take you back to Godhead, Krishna will come in the form of the prostitute to tell you that, hey, you're still on the path.
That was his point?
I think so.
Well, interesting, because he has a weakness for women himself.
Insufficient guidance, like you said.
Yeah. I knew them back in the 1973. Bir Krishna and Bir Mala, his wife. And they lived in the same building my daughter Shakuntala lives in.
Oh wow, same building?
Bir Krishna and Bir Mala. What?
That building that Shakuntala is in right now?
Yes.
Oh,
but
wow.
On the other side of the street, on the ground floor.
Acha. Uh-huh.
So what do you think Facebook page name? The page for
Oh,
page name.
Bhanu Prabhu is trying to make a Facebook page. What should be the name? The League for 10,000 Years should be okay on Facebook. A long name.
Well, the League for 10,000 Years of Golden Age of Kali.
Yes, the League for 10,000 Years of the Age of
Golden Age of Kali.
of the Golden Age of Kali.
The same
Yeah,
rule
that's-
applies to page also. No, doesn't go long.
Oh,
But
the
no,
same rule.
that's
It's
not
too long.
the. No, this is on the page of the Facebook page, not the Facebook page. The web page. It's on the web page. It's not your access page. Oh, you saying what would be the secondary access?
No. We're talking about Facebook. No, the name on Facebook.
Facebook.
Yes,
Oh. Oh, sorry.
yes.
How long can we go?
It
How
is a
long?
leak for 10K years, so that it would be appearing on the left column of the Facebook.
Well, can we say that the Facebook page name is the League for 10,000 Years, and part of the title, but not required for logging in, would be 10,000 Age of Kali, 10,000 Years of Kali. Can that be put there as a supplement to the login name, or it can't be done?
Come again, Prabhu.
Say it again, Narnayan Prabhu. Say it again.
Oh, yeah. So, League for 10,000 Years could be the login name, right? Or is that too long?
No, there's no login. I mean, there's a right side column in the Facebook. So if there's a long name, the whole name wouldn't be visible. The ones who like the page.
Yeah, like I made a or my wife made a Facebook page for me called The Real ISKCON. That's quite a few letters.
The real ISKCON is shorter than our title, The League for 10,000 Years of the Golden Age of Kali. See it?
Well, then you have to use 10K again, I guess.
Yes, Bhanu, you got it.
Leak for 10K.
Yes, yes,
Very done.
yes. Jai. Narnayan Prabhu, you're muted. You're muted.
How
There
long
you
have I been muted? How long have I been muted?
Oh, you muted yourself again.
Yeah, my thumb hit the
Yes.
mute the microphone. Yeah, I think we're making good progress.
So I'll find more juicy videos.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like
But what we should do when you have a juicy video is have the video, and then we need to have an Isagosti meeting and create a narrative to put with that video
yes,
as to where it falls short.
yeah. That's what I want to do. That's one of the projects that I want to incorporate. Seeing these little videos like that, then giving our Ishtagoshti and our group, understanding.
And it would be nice to have good videos too, that we can applaud.
Well, I haven't seen any good videos that I can applaud, so I'm still looking.
Well, we have to make them then.
Right.
Haribo.
Jai Prabhu, go ahead.
Bhaktananda is going to be very good at making good videos.
Oh yes,
He has a very depthy scholar, Vedic. He has the mind of a Vedic scholar.
He's like, yes, very, very tough. Very,
Guess what?
Erudite.
Guess what?
Yes.
Previous life.
Jai, yeah.
When you see somebody doing really well, you
life.
can assume that they did really well in their previous birth.
Yes. He's very articulate. He's very precise with his language. He's very expert.
And depthy.
Yes.
He has depth.
Yes.
Each one of us is like a special sort of like Three Musketeers or some special group. Each one of us has specific skills, and then we need to maximize those specific skills to
Aye.
create this league for 10,000 years.
Independent.
We synchronize our skills. We can use, by what do you call it? Basically by putting all our skills together, where that is what's painting this canvas.
Yeah. Now you're talking my
I was-
language, art director language. So yes, I agree. But you know what would be very ideal is if when we speak, if we can practically finish each other's sentences with an inspiration of our own. That's what the Bhaktivedantas did when Narada Muni's mother took care of them during the monsoon.
Right.
Is that they were so vibed together that they could understand where each other was coming from without losing their, mind you, without losing their individuality.
Right.
You see what I mean? Individuality is king. So if we finish each other's sentences, we finish it with our own insight, not with theirs.
Yeah.
Or we see theirs and then we celebrate their point of view by adding to their point of view.
Exactly. My local experience here at Sacramento is individuality is not recommended.
Well, are you saying in Prabhupada's movement or in the Catholic Church?
In the local Catholic Church ISKCON here that we have.
Yeah, and that's what it is. They have taken on themselves to become the Catholic Church.
Because these devotees that are part of the local congregation, they're very talented, but when they come together, they fumble the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like a football team, they work as a team, but they cannot work as a team.
Yeah, and on top of it, a football team isn't a team. It's a bunch of individuals doing their best together.
Right. Yes, whatever they're good at. But here,
yeah. So you say team spirit. Team spirit is just the final aspect of a football team.
Right.
The team spirit means individuals created a team by coming to the same basic understanding that enabled them to see what to do as a group. So that's what we're doing also, is we're creating a team.
Right.
But a team of individuals.
Right.
Not just a team of robots.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Definitely.
Okay.
So,
I was gonna say,
yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah, we could put on our website, on our Facebook page, no robots allowed. Oh, yeah. Independent philosophers applauded and encouraged, no robots allowed.
That's the encourager's letter.
I'm joking or not joking, as the case may be, but to actually do it. But that's the spirit of it, you know.
Right.
We are encouraging independent thought.
Yes.
Independent realization, which is the purpose of Thakur Bhaktivinoda's statement that he made.
Yeah.
The spirit of the Shastra, not just the words of the Shastra. And he warns us something really amazing, because the words of the Shastra are written by an Acharya, right?
Right.
And he
Right.
said, it's not about the words of the Shastra, even if it's written, because those are old words about something. Those are old words, not new words. So he's really, in a very subtle way, encouraging us to be independent thinkers, independent realization, individual understanding. We will not get any, ISKCON will not get anywhere until it's composed of people that acknowledge themselves to be independent philosophers.
But
having said that, the upper echelon of the Kanista Adhikari would be that category. People learning to be independent philosophers.
Well, they
Because
are independent. They are independent philosophers because they have independent conclusions. Bir Krishna has something else. You know, Shivaram Swami has something else.
Well, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
So what did you mean?
They're not independent philosophers. They have independent opinions.
Ah, yes.
An opinion is not necessarily, opinion is never philosophy.
Yeah.
Opinion comes from the ignorant bodily conscious jiva based on his being ignorant and bodily attached. But a person is speaking from their body, that's an opinion. When a person speaks from inspiration, that is realization. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted the spirit of it means the realization of it. What's the difference between the spirit of the Shastra and the realization of the Shastra? The spirit is the realization, no?
Yes, spirit is the realization.
Or the realization is the spirit. They're not exactly interchangeable, but they are both definitely in the right camp. They both belong together.
Yeah. Prabhupada writes to Karandara, the leaders should be very careful not to kill the individual, spontaneous and voluntary service of the devotees. Individual, spontaneous and voluntary service of the devotees.
So Prabhupada's not coming out and saying it because they wouldn't understand it if he did. But what he's saying is, read that again. What is the individual?
The leaders should be careful not to kill the individual, spontaneous and voluntary service of the devotees. Meaning that, you know.
So he's saying that that spontaneous service of the devotees is their realization, is their individuality, is the individual philosopher.
Yes.
Or yes. That individual spirit is what enables a devotee to wash pots and become purely Krishna conscious at the same time.
Right.
Because he's not washing the pots, his hands touching the pots and cleaning the pot gives him insights into inspired Krishna conscious intelligence.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yes. Yes.
So is there any more stuff to be read?
No, that's enough for tonight.
Yeah, probably so.
All right.
It's only 10:30. That's a lot different than usual.
Yeah.
Which is good because then waking up is easier in the morning.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, have we accomplished everything?
Andrew Ananda
Oh
Prabhu.
wait, but Vashish is here? Did you say Vashish?
No.
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 I thought you said.
No, I said Andrew Ananda Prabhu has something to say.
Just a quick, I guess, suggestion, or this is what I think. That the title to our Facebook page should be as specific and descriptive as possible, because like for instance, I've joined so many groups solely on the title of the group, because you're describing what is, the very purpose of the group, or like
You get an idea of the essence of what it is, right?
right, exactly. So
So
uh,
what can we do to create that same essence?
So
well, I'm
I
not sure how long we can make the title, but I guess
I
I
I
I can
have a
try
group.
to experiment for
Yeah,
myself on the Facebook.
I have a group called Srila Prabhupada's Institutional and Spiritual Instructions. So it came out pretty nice. Srila Prabhupada's Institution and Spiritual Instructions.
Mm.
So that's the long
Yeah,
one. And
but
It's
Banu is
long.
saying that that's too long.
That
um,
for me, that Facebook, if it's like a platform that we should
sir,
we shouldn't try to
keeping it leak for
cut
10K
corners.
years, what more can we add to it? It
Uh,
is discussing everything. Leak for 10K years.
well, like say you're like anybody who's not exactly savvy, they didn't get like a reference to the page, they might not immediately like take to the understanding of what the page is about, I don't know
Well,
if there's a way to say like
could you give an example?
golden age of
Because you
Kali.
said you were attracted to certain pages because of their title. Why not give a few titles you were attracted to so we get an idea of what you're talking about?
Um, I guess I'll have to open up the Facebook page here. Like this would have to be something that where I try to see what all can go into the title box. How many characters? Is there a limit on the characters?
Well, that's not so much the point. Do you remember any of the sites? You said you went to a bunch of them. Do you know any of the sites? Do you remember any of the titles that attracted you so that we can get an idea of what you feel will attract someone?
All right. Well, let me see if I can pull something up here. Group.
I mean, I try to make it as descriptive as possible. Uh, so um, I have one called Srila Prabhupada's Institutional and Spiritual Instructions. So
That is
in
too
that,
long, Prabhu.
it's too long.
Very long group name. Never seen group names with such long, lengthy names.
Acha, acha.
Well, do people go to it?
Well, it's very
How many other?
specific. It only has 30 members, but I'm just getting started. And
Yeah.
and these 30 members are pretty much in line with everything we have done. So it's not 300 members who don't know what we're doing. It's 30 people that exactly know what we're doing and they approve of what we're doing.
You've already created this.
Yeah, it's a small thing. A few clicks.
Well,
So we
it's
can
not such a small thing,
we
but
can change it to leak for 10K years. The same. The essence would be the same.
Okay, let's do that then. Leak for 10,000 years.
10K years. Yeah. Group name.
well, look, but why? I mean, it's a different purpose, right? It's a different website for a different
Right.
purpose.
Uh,
Why not keep them separate and then filter people from there to League for 10,000 years?
Yeah, that sounds better. That sounds
And
better.
maybe the opposite direction as well, from 10,000 years to there. I mean, people could watch two websites, I would imagine.
Yeah. I think that's a better idea because these 30 members of our group are our well-wishers and friends, and they like what we do and they watch our videos. Every video we post, they watch.
Great. So they're like a halfway house to what we're doing.
Yes.
Which is good. We I mean, if they get involved with at the present moment, the style of the League for 10,000 Years is very didactic and opinionated sort of place. It doesn't comfortable or relaxed. It's meant to be like a weight training room, not a lounge chair by the side of the pool.
Weight training room, right? You have to.
Yeah, we're rough on ourselves and we're rough on each other because we're trying to get a conclusion that cannot be obtained in a relaxed mood.
Right. That's what's
You know?
unique about this league for 10,000 years and what we do.
Because once we get to a certain point where we hammer, there's that old saying, strike when the iron is hot. Well, that's a blacksmith term, right?
Right.
You take the iron and you put it in the furnace, and somebody works a treadmill or something that pumps air into the furnace, the thing gets hot, red hot. No, it actually gets white hot.
Right.
If it gets too much hotter, it'll simply melt. So you take it out when it's white hot, but you don't take a tea break before you hit it with your hammer. You got to hit it when it's hot, and that way you can shape it exactly the way you want it. But the longer you wait, the more it resists being shaped.
Right.
So we're trying to create a very strong didactic base. I would say that the founders of the United States Constitution, they probably had conversations, not spiritual ones, but ones like ours, looking for guidance, looking for inspiration, looking for content, looking for making it into something that is self-contained, like the Constitution is. And that's what they did. And imagine as they did it, they went through very similar conversations to ours.
Right.
So that, I think, gives us permission, if nothing else, to create this league for 10,000 years of Golden Age of Kali, so that people will then be able to get their bearings, get their more, it's like they'll have a compass to guide their boat into the next 10,000 years. How are you going to understand what the next 10,000 years will be? Well, you can sit back and wait, I suppose, birth after birth. But what if we plan it out from the advance as best we can, and then say, this is what we consider the 10,000 years to be?
Right.
Yeah. And when we say this is what we consider the 10,000 years to be, then anyone can come in to add or say we're wrong or anything like that they want. But the basic thing is we have to start and we have to create the basis. And as far as being wrong, I don't think we're wrong at all. But are we right on target? We're not quite yet right on target, because we'll never be right on target. We'll keep on, and in this Sagosi, you can never be right on target. You're always getting progress towards the center of the target. Target means, target doesn't mean a thing with a bunch of rings on it. Target means the center. And when you hit the center, then you take another arrow and shoot it, and it splits the first arrow and takes its place in the center. That is what we're looking for.
Try.
So is there anything more to do?
Bhanu Prabhu, anything? Anyone?
Well, what of our saintly Bengali Prabhu? He has not said one word yet.
Hare Krishna. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Amiya Ghosh.
Haribo.
Oh my God, that's a photograph, isn't it? I thought it was you being very quiet, but it's a photo.
Yes, audio is not working. The audio is not working. Yes,
it's a good photo. Very nice, very nice tilak.
I want to share this. I want to share this link. See if it works or not. 1 second.
Hare Krishna. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is
Yeah, Prabhu. You wanna say something or Bhaktananda Prabhu?
Is this working? Nope, it's not working. Nope.
No sound.
Oh,
Haribol.
yes,
Who
go ahead.
wrote it? Who wrote it? It
Sorry.
says don't trust ISKCON leaders.
I wrote it, and the guru saying that.
Who's saying it?
The guru is saying it.
Because
Don't trust. The Guru is saying don't trust ISKCON leaders.
Yes.
Bhakti Vikasa Swami.
Who?
Bhakti Vikasa.
Bhakti Vikash.
I've heard that some leaders within ISKCON criticize that we have a few of these farm projects here in India now. Why is it not in the name of ISKCON? Well, to be frank, we don't. One of the reasons, or the main reason, is we don't trust the ISKCON leaders to take up these farm projects with the proper spirit, with the commitment that's required to follow it through. We don't have the faith that the ISKCON leadership at the present time could take up a farm project and do it in the manner that Srila Prabhupada wanted.
So did you hear that? He's a big guru in ISKCON.
He's the Guru. I know him personally.
So even the gurus.
Actually, somebody wanted me to offer my opinion on him, so we flew to Seattle and heard him speaking.
Who is this guy? Do you know?
Bhakti Vikash?
Yeah.
Well, he's got different projects going. I forgot which. He
So what
didn't
is your-
impress me overwhelmingly.
He did not, huh?
Well, look, put it this way. He is very perceptive, very introspective. He is very intelligent, but it would take a lot of work to get him into our league for 10,000 years.
No. We don't want him. I'm just saying that just look what he's saying. He's an ISKCON guru and he's going against his own people. He's saying that
Oh,
don't trust these people. Don't trust the leaders.
well, why should we trust him?
No, I'm saying that he's saying to the public that I, myself, being an ISKCON guru, don't trust my boss. I don't trust my boss.
You don't trust your fellow gurus.
Yes.
Well,
That's-
why should we trust him?
No, I know that. We're not trusting him. I'm just showing you
No. That's just a hypothetical question
Oh,
to answer his statement. If he says don't trust the gurus, they say, well, why should we trust you? What makes you different than the gurus?
yes, that's what I was going to say.
because it's telling people to not to trust the ISKCON gurus. No one is telling
Okay. Yeah, he could say that. He said, we all came here to take initiation from you, but because you said that, we don't trust you. So goodbye. So I have lost track of what Bhakti Vikash represents. He likes me a lot. We got into a number of very nice conversations. But you see, anyone with an agenda, actually, I don't enjoy talking with anyone who has an agenda. I only talk to truth seekers, because truth seekers cannot have an agenda. They don't have something they're trying to accomplish. We
Right.
don't have anything to accomplish. We're just searching for truth.
Right.
And
right.
truth brought us up. Remember, this 10,000 year thing came as a result of a number of conversations where we were struggling with who are we and what are we doing. And it became clear that what about the 10,000 years of the golden age of Kali?
Yeah. What is
You
it?
know,
What's going to happen?
yeah. Why don't we flesh it out? Why don't we discuss it? Why don't we understand it? Why don't we realize it?
Right.
And that, I think, is our goal. If we put it this way, at least from my humble, shall we say, opinion, that the golden age of Kali understood will show us exactly what ISKCON should be
Mm-hmm.
to succeed. The only purpose of ISKCON is to deliver everyone back to home, back to Godhead. That means the golden age of Kali.
Mm.
And because of that, I mean, I used to see it so much differently. I saw it more or less like ISKCON keeps going and evolving throughout the decades and the centuries and whatnot. And maybe we have electricity, maybe we don't, maybe we have ability to play Prabhupada's sound vibration, maybe we don't, all of that stuff going on. But then now I'm looking at it very, very, very differently.
Mm.
This is a commune for 10,000 years. And I had to come to that conclusion after Prabhupada said, if you chant, why not 100%?
Right.
So I said, okay, how do I create, you can't do it by myself. How do I create a commune for chanting for 10,000 years so everyone chants? And it became obvious that World Sankirtan is the only vehicle. What I call World Sankirtan, I'm not talking about what other people have called World Sankirtan in the past. And even Srila Prabhupada's ideas for World Sankirtan are world. His idea was to go with a party throughout Europe, say, this is at the beginning, and have big kirtans and then start a temple, leave a few devotees behind, pick up a few devotees, take them with you, train them up, have a big kirtan, and then leave some devotees behind. And that way you can create, as we did in the early movement, temples every 6 months.
That was one of the reasons for the creation of BBT, to print books and then open temples, new centers, temples, right?
Yes.
And since, you've been in Los Angeles for, 40 years now, what have they created? Have they created any temples?
Quite the opposite. They've prevented temples.
See? So, just see.
I had a temple I had two temples, one up until in the 90s to 2007, and one from 2007 to 2012.
Right.
And I had temples, and people came from the New Dwarka, but they practically had to pretend that they had to pretend they weren't coming to our program. And our program wasn't that big, maybe 50 people.
Well, 50 people is pretty good size if you think about it. And these 50 people, could have started another 50 temples.
Yes, but unfortunately, I became badly injured at that place, and I lost the temple, which was also my art restriction studio space.
Mm-hmm.
I had 5,000 square feet. Can you imagine?
Oh, that's a huge place, 5,000 square feet. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a warehouse.
Uh-huh.
In the front of the warehouse, we had a temple on one side where the offices were, and a bedroom for my wife and myself and our little daughter on the other side of the hallway, the entry hall. And we had a big bedroom. We had no choice. It was just big because it was. And then we had studio spaces going down both sides of the hallway, going from the front of the place to the back. So it wasn't very much open space. And then on the left-hand side, it was all individual artists that paid rent to stay there. Mm-hmm. They weren't devotees. But they took part in our programs and took part in the feasts, of course. And then on the right-hand side I had my studios plus 2 other studios that I rented out.
This was uh, this was what, 20 years ago?
Well, you could say 20 years ago, but I think 2013 was more recent than that.
Oh, 2013. Acha, 2013. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I guess, these people that were coming to the programs, ISKCON was really probably scared that, they might have a
Well,
runaway.
they weren't scared. They just didn't come themselves. Most of the people that came were people from the temple.
Right.
They weren't like completely new people. There were a number of them, but there were a lot of Indian people that were just peripherally, that liked our programs and just went to the ISKCON programs because they were, Hindu programs, and they came to ours because they were dynamic.
Yeah, because in these types of programs, people can be inspired to do many wonderful things.
Well, that's the way. What we did was to what Prabhupada said. If we had incorporated our temple, then we would have had a ISKCON temple there.
Yeah.
And then if they moved out, they could make an ISKCON temple in their house.
Right.
That's what Prabhupada wanted. But I mean, I tried to do all these things, but it was uphill because the entire weight of the GBC was against it.
Well, you're right in the middle of it. So, what do you expect, And
well, it doesn't matter where you are. What matters is how safe is it for, how much opposition do you get from the official Catholic Church structure?
Well, you were right in the headquarters, so of course you're going to get a lot of opposition, no?
Oh, I was maybe 4 miles away from the temple.
Well, 4 miles too close.
Yeah, but it was what it was. It was what it was.
Right.
It was very, very successful. We had a gorgeous temple room with fantastic original art and deities carved from the same wood. Jagannath deities carved from the same wood as the deities of Jagannath Puri.
Jai, where are those deities now?
In New Zealand.
Ah, acha, your son has them. Acha.
Yeah, he sort of snuck them out.
Huh?
He snuck them out.
Oh, he snuck them out. Okay, that's great.
Who is it?
My son Kubaleshaya.
Oh, where did you, which temple were you describing?
Oh, the one that we had in Los Angeles.
Okay. So he just kind of one day, low key, just, packed up with the deities and like.
Some sumptuous prasadam feast that the ISKCON temple could not even dream of.
Acha, right.
Haribol? Sorry, my
Gourmet.
thing froze. I didn't hear what
And
you
the kirtans were always Prabhupada melodies, never any other melody, ever.
Hey, I've been wondering how many melodies there are that did Prabhupada give.
How many people came? About 50.
How many melodies?
How many melodies?
Give?
How many melodies Prabhupada has? Well, it's pretty easy. Just kind of hear them out. I think it's there in the archives.
Get tapes of Prabhupada chanting and you'll find out for yourself.
Yeah. It's probably not
people would rather come up with Bollywood music than to hear Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Even the Ritviks, so-called Ritviks, would rather chant their own stuff than Prabhupada.
Yeah, it's a very bad habit and very unpalatable thing to do because, it's very, if you make your own, whatever, your beats or your rhythm or whatever, it's pretty nasty because no one can follow because it's all hodgepodge.
Yeah.
It's all hodgepodge.
Yeah.
I've noticed it.
Even Shravan, after I spent so much time working with him on the idea of Prabhupada melodies, he would get together with young ladies in the temple and chant all these other highly imaginative and, I would say, on the subtle plane, psychically sexy melodies,
Yeah,
which led to the inevitable.
yeah. That's why it's bad. All these concoctions of melodies, it's better to stick to only Srila Prabhupada and that's it. Don't make compromises. That's what I've
Yeah.
realized. And it's set in stone now. At one time I was going away from it, but now I've come back and realized, oh yes, this is why nothing makes sense.
Yeah, and how could it not make sense? Only on a horizontal consciousness organization could it make sense. In a
Right.
vertical consciousness organization, the only thing that makes sense is the Acharya.
Joy.
So what was Prabhupada's name for the group? Was it a League of Devotees?
Yes,
Yes.
the League of Devotees.
Well, I
Yes.
just came across a Facebook page called League of Devotees.
I have a copy of one of the original League of Devotees books in
Oh,
my
wow.
place here.
Joy.
I mean, I came across a Facebook page called League of Devotees.
Oh, nice.
You
Oh,
found
it's a new-
it?
No, he found a page on Facebook called the League of Devotees. Someone
Oh
created
yeah,
it.
yeah. Sure, they just took out the title.
Yes, the League of Devotees. Yes.
But if you look,
Saying-
you can also find a book called For the League of Devotees.
Mm.
Let's see if I can find it. I haven't gotten my stuff put together yet.
It's okay.
I've been doing all sorts of other stuff.
It's saying, and it comes on the community arts and entertainment. There's a League of Devotees Facebook page. It's a new page. It's about 75 people are there. 75 likes. Created on February 88, I think so.
What is the content?
Showing a Prabhupada with the world map behind it, cover page.
Videos? Content?
The sharing quotes of Prabhupada and text.
Well, I think what Ramachandra Prabhu is asking is, what is their purpose and their outlook? What are
Yeah.
they doing?
Yes. What are they posting? They're posting quotes. We also do that, but we're posting videos, we're posting solutions, we're posting problems, we're posting, all kinds of stuff.
I
Realize
read one of posted. Artificial needs of life are the activities of the senses. The modern advancement of civilization is based on these activities of the senses. Or in other words, it is a civilization of sense gratification. Perfect civilization is the civilization of Atma or the soul proper. And an image which
Does it sound like they're doing something that we like?
No, I don't think so. No,
Then-
I'll keep track of it because
Yes.
there are only 3 or 4 posts in that.
Yes, Bhanu, you're expert. You do the needful. Chai.
Yeah, so we're focused and, we may be moving along, not even fully cognizant of what we're doing, but we are moving along very carefully to something that is conclusive, not just more stuff,
Yes, we produce a lot of content, with our meetings. I think a lot of questions about, what has to be done to rectify the movement, what devotees can do, what devotees should understand. We have done a lot of these. Now, it's time to structure it and put it together nicely on the website, on Facebook,
Exactly.
everywhere else. So we can't. People are lazy. People are,
Well, whatever they are, the thing is that we can say that our work is, we're not looking for something to do. We're looking at the situation and asking questions about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Well, I
Oh,
can't find the League of the Hoodies.
it's okay.
No.
No, Prabhu. Next time you find it, you put it on the table and you call me, or we
Yeah,
share it
yeah.
in that
Book
way.
you're saying? The book, League of Devotees, it's a book.
Yeah, an
Well,
actual
it's
copy.
it's sort of like a predecessor to Back to Godhead. It's a pamphlet, not a book. And basically, the essentially excellent part of it is the title, because the title starts off Prabhupada's mission.
Right.
Creates the mission. And of
It's-
course, it has wonderful content. But the content isn't the main thing the content, just the fact that he did it, I think, is the main thing, not just the content.
I'm surprised that he changed the title to Back to Godhead. You know, when I think about it, the League for 10,000, the League of Devotees sounds much more appropriate.
Well,
For whatever
he came
reason,
up with it. Back to Godhead, as a phrase, is the Krishna consciousness movement.
right.
Back to home, back to Godhead. That is the inspiring acronym that creates ISKCON. Back to Godhead.
Right. That was
League of Devotees presupposes that there are devotees to begin with, to make a league. That's what we're doing. We're already some sort of devotees, right?
right.
So we're trying to create a league amongst ourselves. But back to Godhead, that's the battle cry for people to become devotees. Without the word phrase back to Godhead, ISKCON wouldn't exist today.
Right. It's much more. How can you say? The League of Devotees and Back to Godhead. In America, it sounds, Back to Godhead sounds better.
Well, it works better.
Yeah, it works better.
Yeah. It
People resonate with it.
It cuts out the middleman.
Right. Back to Godhead.
If you say the Holy Bible, either you accept it or you don't. But how can you not accept Back to Godhead?
Right. Yeah.
Regardless of your religion.
Back to Godhead, right. Christian, Muslim, Hindu, whatever. They all want to go back somewhere.
Yeah. And Godhead eliminates the possibility of impersonal sense of God.
Oh, yes. That makes even more clear.
Godhead means there's somebody there.
Yes. Right. All right. Krishna.
Well, this has been a very wonderful discussion. I feel very satisfied by it. And I think, as they say, popular phrase, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we should introduce more of these.
Our biggest challenge is being each one of us has the universe's biggest challenge. And that is to not think in conventional terms.
What do you mean?
Well, like dogma.
Oh,
if you go into an ISKCON temple, you're being told the truth in a way that can put you to sleep.
Well, they don't give the truth. What do you mean the truth? The truth would mean transparency.
No,
individuals.
if you go to I'm saying you go to a Bhagavad Gita class.
Oh, yeah.
You're being given the truth.
Right. But how to actually realize that truth and apply it in your life? Well, they don't give that.
Because they're presenting it like dogma.
Right. That's what I was gonna say.
You have to believe this. This is what the truth is. Now accept it.
Right.
Now we could say, don't accept it. What do you mean, don't accept it? Don't accept it. Realize it.
Right.
Begin the devotional creeper going up to the lotus feet of Krishna, not some sort of didactic librarian saying shush when you say a word, you know.
Yes. Yes.
We want to encourage unruly discord, unruly discourse, discordant discourse. Because without discourse, there can be no freedom of thought. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Well, have we reached the end of our rope for tonight? Is there anyone that hasn't spoken much?
Bhanu Prabhu, you want to say something? Or whoever else? Amir Ghosh?
I think we have reached end for today.
Okay.
You have to go to work, I guess. Okay, and Banu, I'm very impressed
Jai, Bhanu
with what
Prabhu.
you're doing. Yeah,
Hari Krishna.
I'm very impressed. You're becoming the prime minister's quality person.
Yeah, he's
Anyway,
gonna Hari Bol.
Thank you.
actually, I'm impressed with everyone.
Jai.
Yeah.
All right, Prabhus, thank you very much. Anyone watching online on YouTube, on Facebook, we're gonna have another wonderful Ishtagoshti tomorrow. And if you have any questions, doubts, realizations you want to share, you're welcome.
Why not also say we're going to be sending out a form for
Oh,
what would be the
yes.
best hours?
Yes, we'll also do that via our Facebook, our YouTube. Just check out the link that we're going to post in the messages.
Right.